Howdy and welcome to the Money Mode Chuck channel. I'm Chuck. This is the fourth in the series of videos that I'm doing on Have I Lived the Same Life More Than Once. This is the fourth video. In the third video, I mentioned how our ranch had been raided and my parents had to sell the ranch, and we moved to another property that they owned. It was a house in town that was in a mill village. The house needed some work done on it. They did some remodeling. We hadn't lived there too long when the house caught a fire. The reason the house caught a fire is when they were doing the remodeling, aluminum wiring had been used. Now people know how dangerous aluminum wiring can be. Back then they didn't know. The aluminum wiring overheated back where the refrigerator plugged into the receptacle, and it overheated there and it started a fire. This was at nighttime. My mother, she woke up smelling smoke. She woke my father up. They got up, they investigated, and the smoke was getting bad. The fire was getting worse. They quickly reacted. They got my sister and I out of the house, and we all got out of the house safely. Now, my father called his parents, and my grandparents quickly came while my parents were dealing with things, and the fire department was trying to put the fire out. My sister and I, we went to my grandparents' car, and we sat in the back seat. The doors were open, so that center light was on, so we could see inside the car. So we sat there in the car, and we watched the fire burn. It was bad, but luckily, like I said, we all got out. That was a good thing. Now, sitting in the back of my grandparents' car, I was wearing short pajamas so I could see my legs, and there was something odd. I was sitting there watching that fire, and I'd look down and I'd look at my legs, and I'm not sure exactly how to explain it. But I was looking down, I was looking up at the fire, I was looking down, and I looked down, and suddenly I noticed a mole on my right leg. That was the first time I noticed the mole on my leg. Now, it may have been there before. It probably was there before. But that was the first time I noticed a mole on my right leg. To me, it was odd. And I asked my sister, what the heck is that? And she said, it's a mole. It's not a big deal. But still, I sat there and I wondered, why hadn't I noticed it before? Why hadn't I noticed it before? That bothered me. It bothered me back then even. Now, I think in one of my previous videos, I did mention the mole. Sometimes I do videos and I don't upload them, but I think I did upload the video in which I mentioned the mole. And this is the mole I'm talking about. The mole I was talking about then is the mole I'm talking about now. And something else happened with the mole. Besides the weirdness of how when I first discovered the mole was during that fire. Now, I'm not talking about immediately. I'm talking about like years later. I looked down my right leg and the mole was gone. The mole was no longer there. And then later I discovered the mole was on my left leg. It had been on my right leg and then it was on my left leg. And now the mole's gone again. There's no mole there. There's another mole. It's a different mole. That you just barely see it. It's just you barely see it. And it's on my left leg, but it's not the same mole. The mole that was on my right leg, it was a large mole, and it was distinctive. And it was on my right leg, and then it was on my left leg, and now it's gone. Now, I also had a mole that was on my chin, right in that area there. And I'm not really sure when it first appeared. I couldn't tell you when it appeared. I know that later on, it seemed to be getting a little bit bigger. And about the time I was really going to start shaving seriously, my mother said, well, that mole's got to be removed. So it was surgically removed. And a little bit later after that, there was also a growth that had come on my leg. And it was a benign growth. It wasn't cancer or anything. And it was removed by the same doctor, and it left a big old scar there because it was a fairly big growth, but it was a benign growth. Now, obviously, there's scientific explanations for birthmarks, moles, freckles, rashes. There is a scientific explanation for them, of course, but some cultures, some people believe that birthmarks, moles, freckles, even rashes, sometimes they appear because they're connected to some kind of mark or wound that was on your body during a previous life. That what appears on your skin this life may be connected to what was to something about your body in the previous life. Especially if there's something happening in your current life that connects to the previous life, that the mole or just a discolorization of the skin or freckles or something will appear that will be kind of like a reminder. If you look at it, it may trigger, okay, why is this like deja vu all over again? What, it's there to kind of remind you that there's something happening in your current life that connects to a past life. That's what some people think. Of course, like I said, there's perfectly scientific explanations for the birthmarks, the freckles, the moles, the rashes. So were those moles an indication of where I had been shot in a previous version of this life? Had I been shot under the chin? I've been shot in the leg where that big old growth appeared. Had I been shot in the knee area? Do those moles relate to a different version of my life that goes back to something that happened on the ranch? Do those moles relate to a different version of my life where something happened during the fire itself? Was I injured in the fire? Did I die in the fire? Do the moles relate to that? Do the moles relate to what I think happened in one version of my life later when I was 12 years of age, when I think I was murdered when I was 12 years of age in a different version of my life? Do the moles relate to that? I don't know. After the fire, my family moved to the 6-room house, the house where the bathrooms were on the back porch, where you had the bathroom on the right, the left, and in the center you had the bathroom with a tub. And that is where I remember Mr. X's dog being in that center bathroom. I remember petting the dog. In this version of my life, from what I'm told, that didn't happen. So that has to be from a different version of my life. Now, when we moved to that 6-room house, I was 3 years of age. Now, to explain some weirdness about me, at 3 years of age, I began riding a bicycle without training wheels. I just got on the bicycle. I started riding it. That would kind of indicate that in a previous version of my life, I had lived to an older age because I already knew how to ride a bicycle. Also, I cussed like I was an adult, even though I was just 3 years of age. Now, my parents cussed some, but not like I was cussing. A friend that I had during that period, we had a cussing contest. Yeah, and I think my parents kind of thought I was picking up the cussing from him, but no, it was me. Now I'm going to wrap this video up here. I do intend to make some more of these videos. Much thanks for watching and listening. I do appreciate it. Thank you.